Good afternoon. I just took a nap. I woke up. Me and Aaron ate lunch. Aaron and I ate lunch, and then so now I'm here to tell you about this dream because it stuck with me. I was like thinking heavily on it the whole time I was eating. I'm like, okay, so it starts off with some teenagers. Okay, I'm taking care of some teenagers. They're doing, oh my gosh, they're doing weird stuff all throughout the house. They're like painting the floors and stuff that's destructive. And one of them is my children. Now, the weird thing is, these children are white. They're Caucasian. They're not, I do not see any of my children in sight. Um, and I'm kind of scolding them because they keep destroying my house. I have like the houses are always significant. It's like a 3-story home. And on every floor, I keep coming across these little drawings on the floor, and I'm getting more upset every time and they're not drawings, they're very elaborate paintings. Which initially I didn't even realize. I would just see like some markings of paint, and so I go back to them. Did you do this stuff? Come on! Stop destroying my house, right? But I forgot to clean it up because I'm busy doing whatever it is that I do for a living. Okay? So as night comes, I start to inspect each one and realize that these are like masterpieces, right? And so I go to my children, and one of them's like, I'm just trying to discover myself. And I said, look, you are a part of me. So I know for a fact that you are not destructive. And this is not how you discover yourself. Let's go to the store and get you some easels or some shit, okay? But then I get frustrated yet again when I find out that one of the children intentionally broke a toilet. The toilet is broken. So I'll look up the toilet thing because I remember that there was something about toilets. I've had a lot of dreams about toilets. I had this one dream one time. Total side note, but I had a dream that I was trying to find the bathroom, and I couldn't find a bathroom, and there was a bathroom in the middle of the street. It was like just a toilet. But I didn't there was the toilet was out of order. Okay, so these kids broke my toilet. Anyways, as I'm looking for that. So to go back to the actual dream. So my toilet is broken. And then it's like late night. And I decide that I want to smoke. So I go to my child's room, and she has like all these people in her room and stuff like that doing weird shit. I'm like, y'all are a little too young to be doing that. But I'm coming here for some weed. Sorry, this is bad parenting 101, right? And I get some weed. By now, it's like early morning. It's maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Where I live, even though it's a 3-story home, it's an apartment complex. And it kind of reminded me of somewhere out in Memphis, okay? But I'm not really supposed to be smoking on the property, so I go a little further down, and there's 2 properties that I'm like right in between, and they appear to be, I want to say they're Indian because I heard the word champa, which I think of Nag Champa, the incense. So as they're rising for the morning, you can see through their windows and stuff. There's like 4 or 5 of them getting dressed and ready. On the other side, there's about 10, all getting dressed and ready, but they're passing weed around to each other, even the children. And so I decided that I was gonna sneak into the one with the 10. They noticed me, they did not mind, and we all just smiled at each other as we smoked our weed. So I decide I'm gonna go back home now. It's getting lighter outside. And I'm walking, and I kind of get lost because I noticed that a man is watching me. So I missed my apartment. And so I had to like turn around and find my apartment, and I'm stumbling to get to my apartment, but it's not because of that. It's because this man is making me nervous, right? Um, so he is a U.S. Marshal, and he's telling me that it's weird because this isn't the kind of conversation you'd have with the U.S. Marshal, but he wants to have a conversation with me about my weed addiction. And I literally didn't ever. I had to get weed from my children. I didn't have weed. Like, I'm not a weed smoker really. So I'm confused as to why this man keeps bothering me about my weed addiction. He's following me around. You know, it's very important. Look at you. You're stumbling. I'm like, I'm stumbling because you're making me nervous. Like, I'm fine. I don't have a weed addiction. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's 555. I'm like, no, I don't. And so, for some reason, my house, when you come in the door, you can see through the door. Okay, and it's not like a It's like okay, if you ever been to a daycare that has like the half door, that's how my door was. It was like a half door, so you could see through my house. Well, I told him you're not welcome in the house, and he's standing there still talking about all this shit, yada yada. Next thing you know, I come out naked. And you know, I'm like, listen, dude, I don't have a weed addiction, okay? At the most, I maybe smoke like once a week, or sometimes it's even longer than that. It's like once a month. I don't have an issue with this stuff. I don't know why you're bothering me. You know, yes, I did just smoke today, but you know, I don't even have a stash of it. You could come check or whatever. And he just says, okay, thank you, goodbye. I'm like, thank you, goodbye? You just spent like all this time chasing me around. So I follow him as he's going out to the lobby of this apartment. And you could see his clipboard. And on his clipboard, there's this document, and signed is my mother's name. And I said, are you kidding me? I said, did she tell you this stuff? She call you? She tell you this stuff? He's like, yes. I said, yeah, I'm about tired of that bitch. And he's like, yeah, me too. And he goes on to do his little beep beep, his walkie-talkie or whatever. Me too. What I find interesting is that he said me too. This one would be a good one. Dreaming about a flood or garbage spilling out of the toilet indicates that your feelings are repeatedly belittled, undermined, or unacknowledged. You're feeling disrespected. Yeah. And it was like that. Like when the toilet broke, it was just trash. Like all types of nasty shit. I couldn't get it to stop. I had to turn off the faucet. Because you know that every toilet has like a little thing to get the water. And I'm like, why did this happen? You know. Let me think. What's another one we heard just now? Apartment. But I think another interesting thing about the contrast in the dream is that entire family. When I go to the other culture, and that's not to say that actually happens at the culture. I don't know what happens in that culture, but I do know that in maybe even Middle Eastern, they don't have a problem with children like smoking weed or doing certain things. So they might have even been Middle Eastern, but I feel like they were Indian just because it's a champa. But like in certain countries and in different cultures, they don't even have a problem with that. So it was like a stark contrast to like go from their place where they're all partaking, they're saying their morning greetings. I know it was. I know it was because there was a Rangoli in the house. It was Indian culture. So like they're saying their mornings and nobody's bothering them at all. That's what makes it even more interesting, because like nobody's bothering them at all. They're even letting children smoke. But then as soon as I cross that threshold, I'm being bothered. You know what I'm saying? For the same exact thing. Like, dude, I never ratted them out, but I can like remember my thoughts in the dream of like, bro, that whole house house was just smoking weed. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, two houses, a total of 15 people. So then, let's see. Let's look at apartment. It's interesting. I don't know where I was. I say it kind of put me in mind of Maryland, or not Maryland, but Tennessee, but it could have been, I think it could have been Maryland as well. Now that I think about it. Oh. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. To dream about an apartment refers to your financial or emotional state. To dream of a large and lavish apartment means that you are headed in the right direction and things will improve for you. To dream of a rundown or messy apartment indicates some financial or emotional turmoil in your life. I dreamt of both of these equally. The house itself wasn't dirty and it wasn't run down, but the toilet was broken, but only one toilet of many toilets. And the kids had kept painting on the floor. One thing I forgot to mention too, before I went out to smoke weed, I did acknowledge, I might have said this already, but I did acknowledge to them how wonderful their artwork was. And that I didn't, like, I thought it was lovely. Like, I went to the children, because I had been yelling at them the whole time. In my dream, I had the same type of personality I have now, to, like, apologize if I think I overstepped or was too harsh. So I did, like, say, I just want you to know that I really did love your work. And I do think that your work was really great. Something to instill their esteem, because the issue wasn't that they were the issue wasn't their art, the issue was where they were doing their art, right? So I didn't want them to get it's weird, I could feel my emotion. I didn't want them to get some kind of complex or feel like they shouldn't be painting. They just needed to be painting elsewhere. To see a painting in your dream represents creativity and your need for self-expression. And the painting is symbolic of your intuition and inner realizations. It's crazy. If someone else is painting in your house, then it suggests that someone close to you is hiding something from you. Which is interesting because they were all kids. It was weird because they were all kids though. Though they were white. They couldn't have been my kids, but I called them my kids in the dream. So I don't know what that's about. Look, that's all I'm going to look up on this situation, but I find it interesting because it probably it still pertains to something that's happened. There is a police officer that comes out here. I don't think she knows I know she's a police officer, but she comes out with a drug dog. And every time I see her, she just so happens to be at my house. I know she walks through the entire neighborhood, but she happens to be at my house. And I feel like maybe she may be the person who thinks I have some type of drug problem. But I think that for a long time I was followed because of drug problems, and the person that signed off on it was my mother. I know it. And I think it's just confirmation. There may be some children or teenagers within the area that have lied to me or hiding something from me because they weren't my children. In fact, I don't even recognize them. One I kind of do. She looks like somebody on YouTube. Because I do watch like a lot of young people on YouTube. I don't really shout them out because they're young. just keeping up with the. And she's not that young. She's an adult. Excuse me. She is an adult. But she's just, she's really young. She kind of looked like her. One of them. But there was plenty of others that I didn't recognize, I had to have seen them in passing somewhere. So this video is going a lot longer than I expected, over a whole bunch of nothing. But I just wanted to let you know what I dreamt. I'm about to, excuse me, to be honest with you, I'm about to go back to sleep. Y'all have a good rest of your day.